All right, we should get going.
All right.
I'm not going. We're not leaving anywhere. We're gonna get started.
Let's go.
Let's just leave. Let's not do it today. Do you want to start this one?
Certainly.
All right, go for it.
Okay.
Yes.
Speak drippingly on the tongue.
Tip of the tongue, something.
Tip of the tongue and teeth of the lips.
Teeth in the lips.
Hey everybody, it's the Invested Podcast with Terry Coronella.
That's me.
Woo! And Connor Davidson.
Hell yeah, boy.
We in your face, bitch.
We're gonna talk. Don't be rude.
I'm sorry.
It's very rude.
I'm very hyped.
You should apologize.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, apologize.
Not sorry.
Apologize to that microphone.
See you later, Blue.
Blue.
You snowball looking.
Hey, what are we doing today? Tonight.
Oh, we're talking about a little bit of the Justice League movie.
We both saw that movie. Woo. I don't know what you thought of it, because I ducked out early that night. So I was exhausted. I was like, I'm out.
I'm out. Well, what did your people think of it? Did they like it?
Yeah, they enjoyed it. Yeah. The people I brought enjoyed it, but they tend to enjoy a lot of things, but it's fine. We'll get into depth about that, but we're going to start out with a little bit of news stories. Connor, you ready for these?
The news. Oh yeah.
Don't sound so excited. Ant-Man and the Wasp has finished filming.
I did see that, yeah.
Yeah. So this takes place after the third Avengers.
Oh.
Right?
So they're not dead. Spoilers for third Avengers.
Well, I mean, not takes place. I'm saying, like, this movie is set after, like, it's releasing after the third Avengers, right? Or is it before?
I think
it's after.
I think it's after. So, I think it's before Avengers Part 2.
Yeah, so...
Part 2.
In my eyes, I don't think any movie should release between those movies.
Right.
Because, like, whatever happens is not going to be as important as what's happening in Infinity War.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Unless it's, like, Captain Marvel that's going to be taking place.
Unless it's, like, tied to what happens in the movies.
Yeah. But then it's just, like, why not just release Infinity War Part 2 then?
Or maybe the situation where all of the Marvel characters are fighting in the Infinity Battle time, and... the people whose movies are just like, you gotta stay on Earth. You gotta
babysit real quick.
Babysit, yeah. And it's like, oh boy.
It's basically a version of just saying, stay in the car.
Stay in the car. Stay in the car. This isn't a car.
This isn't a car.
do, 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 do.
That's the wrong line.
Mortal Kombat.
Wait, I was quoting Batman. What were you quoting?
I was quoting Batman via Arl Nuts.
Okay. This isn't a car. Luke Cage Season 2 is finished filming as well.
Hey, everybody's got to work.
You know what I said when I read that?
What?
I don't care.
I feel so bad because I was so pumped for Luke Cage. I was like, hell yeah, this is going to be so fun.
I know a lot of people...
after Cottonmouth died, it wasn't...
Hey, spoilers for Season 1.
Oh, spoilers for Season 1.
I mean, if you haven't watched it, it's just...
He does like 5 episodes in or something.
Yeah, it's like halfway through.
And then they bring in, what is it, Diamondback?
He's the worst.
The Arizona Diamondbacks. And he's like, I'm Luke. As soon as he's
like, I'm a super villain.
Yeah, oh God. As soon as he punched that cop and said, I'm Luke Cage. As soon as I was like, we're done. We're done.
I know a lot of people hate Iron Fist show. I just liked Luke Cage even more.
Interesting.
Because I've said this a lot. Luke Cage had no interesting characters to me. Iron Fist, the siblings, and what's his name, Faramir from Lord of the Rings, they were interesting to me.
Oh, Faramir's in it?
Yeah, the actor who played Faramir. They were interesting to me. That whole
I've been sleeping on all the Netflix stuff.
Yeah, that whole side story with them was great. Mm-hmm. Iron Fist was bad, like the character. But Luke Cage, the show, I just was so bored the whole time. I couldn't wait to be done with it.
I think my favorite Marvel Netflix stuff was like first season of Daredevil was really strong.
Oh yeah,
and then
half of second season 2 was good.
Half of season 2 was good. All the Punisher stuff was incredible. Every Punisher scene is like, yes, this is great. And then I think Jessica Jones is a perfect.
I love Jessica Jones.
It was
That's a great show.
Freaking good.
Yeah,
it was like awesome.
Strong villain though. If he's not, I'm worried about
villain.
Season 2 because
I think season 2 would be good. But like it's so funny too because I remember when Jessica Jones came out, I was like, I think I like Daredevil more as good as Jessica Jones is. But as time has gone on, I'm like Jessica Jones is way better show than the first season.
A lot of the action scenes in Daredevil drag on a little bit. You're like, oh, here he goes again, fighting people.
Here you go.
But there's none of that in Jessica Jones. It relies all heavily on character interaction, and that's really good.
It's so cool. It's so awesome, and it's like.
And it's edge of your seat. You're like,
I just and I know this is the ultimate nerd response, but I kind of wish it was just a little bit more like the comics because the comics are so fun. Like they're even more fun than you'd expect.
Sorry, I just saw like a weird flash outside in the window, so I didn't know what it was.
You got people running through the woods.
They might have aliens going in over here. So
aliens on the ground.
I don't really care about that, but whatever. Jake Gyllenhaal is being talked about to play replace Ben Affleck as Batman in a standalone movie. So there's no talk on whether or not he's going to replace him like in the movie, just like all of a sudden it's Jake Gyllenhaal instead of Ben Affleck, or if he's going to be a new Batman, or if he's going to be Nightwing.
I think Jake Gyllenhaal is a fantastic actor, and so I'm totally on board with that.
Do you
because it beats? I mean, I get what Ben Affleck's going for, but he's like even when he's playing Bruce Wayne, he's all like this gruff like. We gotta get the team together, and I'm like, I don't understand his conception of Bruce Wayne because every guy who's played Batman has their own view on Batman and Bruce Wayne. Like even Keaton
went nuts with him.
Let's get nuts. All that stuff is great. Yeah. And then Christian Bale had his own thing,
arrogant,
which is really cool. Yeah, and it's like. And then
he's arrogant and clueless. I love that. I love that part in Dark Knight where he drives the Lamborghini or whatever into the thing. He was like, why? Who did I protect?
Yeah. That was great. All that stuff. I just think that I don't know, the Ben Affleck thing, it's like he doesn't play Batman. He's just like a guy in a Batman costume who's like, he's more like James Bond than he is Batman. But I think a
big part of that is because there hasn't really been enough time to flesh out the character at all.
Yeah.
Because he's been a side character in
should we segue this into Justice League?
Not yet. No, I still have some more stuff to talk about
because I got opinions up the wazoo.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get there. Don't worry. Oh, speaking of apparently WB has billed Ben Affleck because he stole a batarang off the set of Justice League. Really? Yeah. I don't know why he would do that if he doesn't like the character so much.
Well, isn't WB also doing they're doing that thing with George Miller where they're like, we're not gonna pay you your bonus because to say that I know about the situation in any intimate way would be disingenuous.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know that thing? George Miller, apparently, I think this is WB, right? They did Mad Max Fury Road. Or it could be Legendary Pictures or something.
I'm not sure. I could look it up, but that means I have to do something.
Oh, that's true.
Do you want me to look it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's the way it was explained to me is that...
What do I type in for this?
George Miller...
Who
lawsuit
owns Mad Max?
Or George Miller News. But basically, the long and short of it is that if he came in under budget for the film, they were going to give him a bonus. And it was a very successful film. It was nominated for a shitload of Oscars, which was, it was
nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah. Which, I mean, part of me is like, I love Mad Max. I think it's an amazing film that is like one of my favorite films. But the fact it was nominated for so many Oscars, I was like, there's some run in Denmark, Like there is not a lot of competition that particular year. But I love that movie, so I was like, hey, go for it, man. Win as many Oscars as you want. But basically, he came in under budget, but they're disputing that, and so they're not paying him.
It's Warner Brothers.
Okay, yeah, Warner Brothers. And it just sucks because it's like for him to advocate for himself, he's kind of having to burn the bridge of doing any more Mad Max movies, and so it's like, as fans of like, we're like finally a cool reboot, something like that the fans love, that's really fun, really a good time. And now that bridge has been burnt. And so it's like I wish that, like...
So you don't think we're going to get another Mad Max movie?
No, I don't think so. I mean, because they're going to be like, well, because of this, he's too much trouble to work with.
Well, that's dumb.
And yeah, it's stupid because it's like, just pay the guy his money.
I have a couple more little things before we move on. Fantastic Beasts, the new sequel has been announced.
Sequel?
The new sequel has been announced. It's called, get this, Fantastic Beasts... The Crimes of Grindelwald. Does that make any sense to you?
Fantastic Beasts, the Grindelwald.
It's like
movie.
they started. It's like they started this franchise, Fantastic Beasts, and they were like, "Crap, we have no more material for the Beast part of it."
He got all the beasts.
So we'll just continue it, and just it has to be somewhat connected. Like
the Grindelwald is kind of a fantastic beast in his own right. You know,
and the picture was released. I don't know if you saw that.
Johnny Depp,
of the cast. John Depp.
Jean Don.
Fantastic Beasts. Not and where to find them.
Jean Don. I've only read a couple poems by Jean Don, but I love saying Jean Don because that's how Anthony Hopkins says it in Westworld.
And this is it has Armie Hammer, right? Is that him as young Dumbledore?
Oh, that looks like Jude Law.
Jude Law, that's who it is. Sorry.
Armie Hammer.
Yeah, Jude Law as young Dumbledore.
Who is Ezra Miller's in it? And yikes! Oh, yikes! This is
and our good friend, our good pal.
Oh boy, this is not
Johnny Depp. Yeah.
I'm not excited about it, whatever this is.
This is the Crimes of Grindelwald.
Wait a second. Isn't he dead?
Who, him?
Ezra Miller's character?
Well, clearly he's not. That's a spoiler, isn't it?
Yeah, because I thought he gets killed by Colin Farrell.
He explodes and flies away.
Now I guess he's back and he's,
He's angry.
He's angry. And he's...
So there's that. Don't care. Didn't like the first one.
Yeah.
Probably not going to see this one in theaters. I'll probably wait until it comes out because I don't care about it.
Yeah.
Which is so sad because we're supposed to love these movies. And I feel like people who say they like it probably just have to say that because they don't feel like they can dislike it.
Exactly. They're like, I'm loyal to the brand.
Yeah. Sebastian Stan says he wants to play young Luke Skywalker, and Hamill has been like, yes.
I guess maybe. I mean,
so the way they would have to do it, it would have to take place if they were to do a movie.
Young Luke Skywalker.
It would have to take place between 6 and 7.
Yeah. So
the adventures of Luke between 6 and 7. Because I don't know if you've seen the picture of those two side by side, but it's terrifying. I don't know. Sebastian.
Sev.
I don't know. Luke Skywalker.
He was really good in Winter Soldier. And in Civil War.
So that's Sebastian Stan's face put with Luke.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's terrifying, isn't it?
Yeah, wow, it does look like it. Wow. Interesting. Yeah. Wow, holy shit.
Yeah. And Mark Hamill apparently has come out and be like, yeah, I'd be down with that.
Yeah, I mean, he's not totally bad. The problem with him is I haven't seen his range yet, which I'm sure he has range, but I haven't seen him fully embrace it. Way like
he doesn't
like a
do
Daniel
much
Craig
as
has.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah. He's mostly just like, yeah, I killed those people.
And all the other roles he's done, it's just been kind of side character stuff. But he looks the part. I'm sure he'd do fine.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'd be fine. But that'd be kind of a cool idea to have a what happened to Luke between these movies type thing.
Why not?
Because apparently we're going to get Star Wars movies for the rest of our lives. So they better use him now while he's still young.
Can't get him while they're young.
I have one more little news thingamajigger. A Super Mario's movie is in the works by the studios that made Despicable Me and Secret Life of Pets. So it's going to be animated. Probably a bad idea.
Super Mario movie, yeah. I mean, to me, the whole thing is like, whoever's directing it, like, now who would you like to direct a Super Mario movie?
Oh, who would I like to direct a Super Mario movie? Oh, obviously the people who made the Lego movie.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
Freaking Han Solo.
Lord Miller.
Miller, yeah. 21 Jump Street. Mm-hmm. That's a good choice. That's a good choice.
Because they can just make humor. They know how to do it. They know how to not take anything seriously.
Well, yeah, you want someone good at animation. I feel like the Mario movie should have not necessarily live action elements, but there should be an element of like a new style of animation. So you're looking for some
like the Lego movie was, or
like the Lego movie.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of like my favorite animators and their different styles. Yeah. I mean, the Mario stories are kind of about
the same thing every time.
They're about 350. They're about the idea of the exploration of not level design is a too crude a word, but the idea of complexity.
Yeah.
In a weird childlike environment.
It's a platformer.
It's so funny that Majora's Mask and the Mario games are made by the same company because I feel like the world of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask is the same world as Mario, just the medieval version.
Yeah.
It's like if they...
Oh, all
move that up
Nintendo
a
games
couple
are so
times.
incredibly similar.
You want someone like a Baz Luhrmann to do it, but but reined in. You know,
Okay.
Baz Luhrmann with someone who does animation really well. And
Well,
like,
it's the studios that did Despicable Me and Secret
and I don't
Life.
mean Baz
That's-
Luhrmann now. I mean you want Romeo plus Juliet, Baz Luhrmann.
I hated that movie.
You hated Romeo plus Juliet?
Yeah.
It's so fun.
It's not a plus, it's
So
an and.
cheesy. It's great.
It's terrible. It's so bad.
Romeo plus Juliet. We have the tape.
It's so stupid. The guy from Lost is in it, right? And he's like a cross-dresser. It's very confusing.
Oh yeah. He plays Mercutio.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah, I remember that.
Look, we're already talking about
I know we're talking about Shakespeare.
We'll get to that point at some point. So that's all I have for news. Do you have anything you
Baz
want to add?
Luhrmann and Miyazaki co-production.
Do you have any news stories that I don't know about
Any news stories
besides the George Miller? one?
I saw a trailer for a new rock movie called Rampage.
I haven't watched it yet. Yeah, we
And-
might talk about that. At some
And
point.
I was like, I just had the weirdest reaction because part of me is like, this is kind of cool, but also kind of dumb.
Isn't Rampage like an old video game? Where
It
you
might
play
be.
as a bunch of monsters, you fight in a city or something like that.
It might be. I don't know for sure, but
I saw the white gorilla and I was like, what is this King Kong ripoff?
yeah, it was so strange.
Yeah.
It was like Mighty Joe Young / an inverse of King Kong / Planet of the Apes a little bit, kind of like not necessarily in that vein, but thematically there's some ideas taken from it, and I was just so confused, and I was like,
I'll have to watch the trailer.
yeah, because there's part of it that
Just
looks
came out
interesting.
like yesterday or today, right?
It feels like a really fun spec script from like 2003, where it's like somebody wrote this idea, came up with this really fun idea, and it's like, wow, this is really fun. And if it had just come out then, it would have been, you know, they would have fucking killed it. It would have been like Gladiator. Everyone and their mom goes to see it.
You think so?
Yeah.
In 2003?
Yeah,
They didn't
2003.
have the digital capability. Yes, they did.
Yeah, I think so.
They absolutely
Yeah.
did. With Lord of the
The
Rings,
Matrix
you
had
could do it.
already come out.
Yeah, that's true.
Anything post Matrix, it's like you can make anything happen as long as
Well,
you
I
don't
just think about what they did
overextend
with Lord of the
yourself.
Rings in 2001.
Oh God, we have so much to talk about with Justice League. We
Okay.
have so much.
Yeah,
to
we're
talk
gonna get
about.
there. We're moving quick, so we're gonna do.
Speaking of bad CGI,
We're gonna talk about. Oh, I know. We're gonna talk about trailers. So we watched Incredibles 2 teaser trailer came out, and it featured Jack with powers, and Bob is like, "Whoa!"
yeah, that's
I'm excited about this one. I'm glad they didn't set it too long after. It's right after the first one. The animation, it's going to be weird. It's going to be like the difference between Toy Story 3 and 2, where like the animation's like all of a sudden really good.
Huge quality jump.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, this is weird. Look at all that detail on Woody's head. You're like, it's just strange.
There's a snake map.
But yeah, so I'm excited to see how like revamped characters. It's like
What's the song from the second Toy Story that Randy Newman sings?
I don't even know.
He's like, now you're living with other people.
Oh yeah, oh my god, didn't catch on like the first one did it. But yeah, there's not much to talk about in this trailer. What do you think the story's going to be?
The Incredibles 2?
Yeah, probably going to focus on Jack.
It's going to be like The Dark Knight. It'll be about escalation.
I thought you were going to say escalators.
Escalators. How do they work?
Jerry, I need a pickle.
Jerry, I need a pickle.
I was just thinking about that episode where he's like, oh, I thought you were going to say I'm Kramer.
You're Kramer.
Nirvana the Bandit Show.
You just put the plate on that side. Wow, we fell asleep in rollerblading. Rollerblading became popular again. This is a long fucking nap culturally.
I love that show. I can't get over it.
It's so good.
I seriously want to have an episode where we talk about
Yeah.
Nirvana.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no movies
Yeah.
to discuss. We'll do a real talk on that.
That'd be
We'll just
perfect.
really go for
I
it.
love that show so much.
Yeah, we'll do a really review. Because the second season's come out, but I haven't been able to watch it. I haven't been able to find it.
Yeah,
anywhere.
only in Canada right now.
Yeah.
Trying to wait.
We'll
for
get it someday. So, Incredibles 2, excited.
Oh yeah.
Teaser trailer, it's just a teaser trailer. Looks fun. Deadpool 2 trailer, teaser as well. It's more of a trailer than anything.
The problem I have with Deadpool is the problem I have like with a lot of these things where Deadpool is such a fun character that you can do so much with in a film, and I feel like in the first Deadpool they barely scratched the surface with what you can do with them.
We
Like,
didn't really
like all
talk
the
about
things
it.
people love about Deadpool, all the things people like, oh, that was so great in that movie. Like I love how he like broke the fourth wall and all that stuff. It's like I feel like people are just settling because I'm like, he can do so much more than that. And it's like, it's a Deadpool movie. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. The continuity doesn't matter. It's like, you can have a Deadpool movie where it's like 5 different movies happening at the same time, and Deadpool is jumping from movie to movie. Like, you can do fucking Roger Rabbit crazy shit.
The danger with that is, though, it could turn into like a movie 42 type deal, and all of a sudden it's just really bad.
Oh, like, because all the jokes are kind of like...
Yeah, it could be like an epic movie type thing. But we didn't really talk... What are your thoughts on the first Deadpool movie? Did you like it?
I did. My expectations were tempered. I went in, there were some scenes I liked. It felt very formulaic, and that's the thing that bothered me, is because, like, is it... The things I liked the most were all, like, the Deadpool little character moments, right? Mm-hmm. All, like, the little things he did, all the little nods to the audience. But that's really it. Everything else was pretty much paint by numbers of, like, here's the bad guy, here's what he does. And
their budget was tiny, though.
Their budget was very tiny, but I'm like, Hot Fuzz had a budget of $10 million. So it's like, as long as you get 10...
I think this was $30 million.
Yeah. As long as you get more than 10, you can do whatever you want, as long as you organize the expectation of what you're doing. As long as you maintain... And that's the great thing, too, about Deadpool, is you can play in the sandbox of this character. You can have whatever you want. But you just have to set rules. You have to set an expectation. Imagine you're watching a Deadpool movie, you go in, and it's like, you think you're in the wrong movie theater. It's like one of these, it's like a Lifetime movie. You think you're watching Driving Miss Daisy, and slowly, it's like Deadpool like is in like the back of the scene, and he's like pointing stuff out, and then you see like the action movie happening in the background.
But it's always focused on the romance.
Exactly. You can do whatever you want, Deadpool. That's the best part of that character. Yeah. And they've barely
I liked the first one. I think as time's gone on, I've kind of thought about it and been have more of like an opinion of like it was good, but it definitely wasn't amazing. And
it was overhyped because it was the first.
But the thing was, I lived
it.
with my friend, not you, Connor, but other Connor, who Deadpool is his life. It's his favorite character of all time. So like,
how did he feel about the movie?
He thought it was great because it was the first time he'd seen a live action Deadpool that satisfied him. You know, and that's a lot. So like from when I saw it with him, I was like, yeah. This is great because I'm seeing how excited he was, and I'd learned a lot about the character. He let me borrow some comics, and I was like, "Wow!"
The Deadpool comics are really fun.
Yeah, I read Deadpool Kills the Avengers. That was a favorite of mine. That was really dark though, but it was just cool, you know.
He's always getting up to shenanigans. Yeah, always getting his head cut off.
But this
and never reattached.
This trailer, I loved this trailer because it doesn't feel like a trailer. It feels like a web clip, but it's an actual trailer.
Yeah. Well, the thing I like about this trailer is it's kind of like gives me a little Too Many Cooks vibe, a little bit of a uninterrupted footage of a bear vibe.
Yep. I love the way he says "wet."
Yeah. All that stuff is
just really good, and like the sound design when he's hitting the thing.
Although I'm a little worried because of two things of the guys who made the first movie. Some of them left or something. Either one of the directors or writers. And so that's kind of like up in the air, and I don't know where they landed with that. And the other thing is that they have Josh Brolin as Cable, which I'm like, fun idea. Josh Brolin, you know, I like him in No Country. Cable's a fun character, but part of me is like confused. Yeah, we think we like him as Thanos. Now, like I haven't seen him do anything cool as Thanos. It's so funny. I like the dude who played Thanos before he did. The freaking
in Avengers.
Yeah,
he just didn't say anything though.
Yeah, but it was great. I loved it. And they killed. You know this. They killed my favorite character.
Oh, the guy with the 5 thumbs or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that was a weird decision. So
blame James
much.
Gunn. That was his decision.
James Gunn.
Then again, was it though? Because I feel like Kevin Feige was like, hey, we have to put Thanos in your movie. And he was like, okay.
And it's like, you could have had so much fun with that dude. Because I loved his whole thing. Like how he was like the mouth of Sauron for Thanos.
Yeah.
And
that sounds awesome, yeah.
Yeah. And I was just so excited for him.
Maybe he'll get another one.
Yeah, well, it's because you know how him and Loki talked?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, they might not do Mephistopheles as Thanos' right-hand man. Cause
he has a team. They just haven't announced who it is yet, right?
Oh, it's like the Iron Black Glove or something?
Yeah, there's 3 of them or something like that.
The Black Hand. Isn't that like the World War I, like Serbian terrorists or something? The Black Hand.
We're moving off topic here. All right, so Deadpool 2...
Deadpool 2.
I'm looking forward to it. I think the first movie was definitely
it looks like a Freddie Wong video. Like the rest of the trailer, you know what I mean? Yeah. Just very like...
I think the first movie was a test. I think this one they're going to have a lot more liberties.
That's what people said about Guardians too. And I like Guardians 2, but a lot of people didn't like Guardians 2.
Yeah, that's true. So we'll see what happens.
I love Guardians 2 so much. It sucks that no one likes it. Or
people like it,
people
just not as much. It's fine.
Which is, I mean, makes sense because Guardians kind of broke the mold, and I remember how much fun I had watching that movie.
Yeah.
But Guardians 2 I just think is better. It's like
I think Guardians 2 would be like the best movie ever if Guardians 1 didn't happen.
Ooh,
if Guardians 2 was the first one to come out.
Yeah.
I just think that we were desensitized.
Definitely.
To the characters, to the vibe, how everything.
And it was a little too many forced jokes.
Yeah. That was my biggest problem. It's just kind of like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it worked for me. A lot of people, I've heard a couple of people say that Thor had too many forced jokes, but I think it worked because we hadn't seen this character do this yet.
Yeah, it was new.
It was new. So, I don't know. Anyway, want to move on?
Yeah.
We're moving quick tonight, but we got a lot to talk about.
Oh boy.
With Justice League. So, initial thoughts of Justice League, Connor. Maybe I should go first.
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, I'm going to go first. I thought the movie was enjoyable. I had fun with it for the most part. I didn't think it was terrible. It had good moments. It had some really bad moments. Mm-hmm. It had some very flippy floppy lip action going on with Superman. Did you notice it?
Yeah, we talked about that.
God, that was
digital
terrible.
Mustache.
Oh my gosh.
Looked like he had putty on his face.
I thought the characters, for the most part, I think their chemistry was really good. Mm-hmm. When those parts where they're like in the room together talking, which is stuff that you want. The action was kind of bland. I mean, nothing really happens at the action scenes. I mean, that's an overall. But we can get scene by scene. We can get moment by moment.
Oh,
I want to hear what you think.
I'm so excited.
All right, let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
So it starts with Superman being interviewed by that kid. Clearly,
oh, God. Already. Already. I'm like, what's happening? And then the kid's like, what's your favorite thing about Earth? And Superman is like, doesn't answer him and just looks off in the distance. I'm like,
that's how it cuts out, right?
That has no meaning for this child. This child is just staring there being like, are you okay?
What do you think he's thinking about? Lois Lane?
He's like, cheeseburgers, cookies. Like
Martha.
Martha. It's just like super weird.
All right, well, we're going to do, first of all, spoiler, whatever, if you haven't seen the movie. But we're going to sound real mean about this, but we're going to have fun with it. So,
what's your favorite thing about Earth? Doesn't answer children. He hates Earth.
So that was instantly I was like, wow, this lip looks so people don't know.
And I got to say, continue.
All right, well, people know real quick. He was cast as Superman first, did his shots, went and got cast as the villain of Mission Impossible 6, had to grow a mustache for it, then had to come back and do reshoots for Justice League, but the studios wouldn't allow him to shave the mustache, so Warner Brothers digitally removed the mustache from his face for like 20,000 dollars.
20,000 for public credits.
Yeah, and it's noticeable. It's certainly noticeable, and it's really just the funniest thing.
EA's like, we'll remove it for 60,000 credits. I just like, okay. I was like, oh hey, you remember when they did this in Spider-Man: Homecoming? Like the video at like opening.
Yeah.
And I was like,
and it was so much fun.
It was fun. It was kind of character motivated, because that's the thing. It's character motivated, and I hate all this stuff, like the way that, because again we talked about like DC is a metaphor for the Greek pantheon, right? Mm-hmm. And so they
are they trying to be though? That's the question.
Well, I think that was the original intent of the comics.
Oh, okay.
Right?
You mean comics? Okay.
And I think in the movie they are co-opting all this imagery and they're reusing it, but they're trying to show it as like religious worship versus the reality of the Greek pantheon. The Greek pantheon is not about supplication or worship. The Greek pantheon is about extrapolation of human frailty into a godhood form. It's like, what if you, with all your troubles, all your personality flaws, had godlike powers? Yeah. That's the point of the Greek pantheon, and even the Norse pantheon is it's more about investigating the self from a higher place. It's not about some larger And that's what the Zack Snyder movies do. That's like all the religion, and not in all of the DC movies do this, where they portray the heroes as these like arbiters of literal justice. They're like these arbiters of justice, and they have a concrete morality that's tied to their character. And it's like that's not the case at all. They don't set that up, and they don't deal with any moral dilemmas. It's just like poo poo poo, punch this guy, boom boom boom, and it's like
and then sulk for a little bit.
Sulk. Make sure to sulk because that's what makes it like philosophy.
I think so. Why do you think this phone interview is clearly a reshoot?
Well, because
why do you think they put it in?
It's trying to like wank off this idea of like people in the DC world are obsessed with superheroes as a form of like celebrity worship, right? We saw it in the newspaper clippings where it's like Superman and David Bowie and Prince went back to their home
Bowie. Yeah, that was a weird moment.
Oh, it's such poor taste. Like Jesus. Like, and they're trying to show them as icons where people are like, oh my God, it's Superman. Oh my God, it's... And
which,
it's like,
I mean...
that doesn't happen in the Marvel Universe at all.
It does with Tony Stark.
Well, yeah, but people are like, Tony Stark's a rock star. And then with Spider-Man, it's like, dual flip. Like, that was great. That was like a realistic thing that no one takes him seriously.
You're that spider guy.
Yeah. It's like, that's great because that's just like honesty. And the problem with DC...
And it's like Peter Parker, real quick, it's like Peter Parker watched these superhero movies. It's like, I can be like that.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's like, that's not how life works.
He can't.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
It's great. And like, so the DC... And this was a huge thing with this movie, is they're trying to course correct. They're trying to be more like Marvel, right? They're trying to do all these, be more silly, be more colorful, do all this stuff. Fine. But the problem with that is that Marvel is taking these huge concepts, like this like super-powered super soldier America, Captain America, and then it's like, what if we put him in a bureaucratic, like, double agent scenario? They're taking these characters and putting them, funneling them down into... more of like executable realistic genres, right?
Yeah.
Whereas relative to the characters. Whereas the DC movies are trying to do that, but they don't have the track record to set that up. They don't have the character set up.
We're 5 movies in now.
Yeah. And
that's crazy.
I know.
That's nuts. This is the 5th movie.
Because DC's too afraid to go cosmic. They're too afraid to go weird with it. It's like, we should have not had this movie be like Steppenwolf's coming to Earth. Like most of Justice League, you want to do Apocalypse? Fine. Do Darkseid. Go to Apocalypse right away. First scene. Do it. Like have the Green Lantern Corps in there. You could just throw things at the wall.
Well, I think to a point. All right, so one of my biggest issues with this movie was the characters weren't fleshed out at all because we had never met them before.
Except for Wonder Woman.
Except for Wonder Woman and even Batman is barely. Yeah. So there's which she was my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
Every time she's on screen, I'm like, yes.
Which part of me is like, that's kind of cheating because I noticed they do this in the movie a lot. There's really weird stuff about Wonder Woman's character where they give her one of 3 things. They make her the mom. They make her the romantic interest for everybody. Yeah, I was very clearly aware that she was the only woman there. And I'm like, why are you pairing her off with everybody? I'm like, because there was no other like female DC character like a Zatanna or a Batgirl. There was no like way to balance that, and it was super strange.
Well, the thing is, Zack Snyder wants to push Batman and Wonder Woman as like this romantic thing. It was kind of having, and I think it worked okay with Barry Allen being like, "Wow," because he's just a kid, you know. Like he's just
and then they do a Cyborg, and then Superman, and I was like, "This is," and then Aquaman, and I was like, "Oh, this is super weird, man."
But I was thinking during all the, so I really liked Aquaman. He was cool. Really cool.
The best scene is his Lasso of Truth, I think. One of the better scenes.
How much cooler would it have been if we already knew this character?
Way better, yeah.
And then seeing that character interact with people we've already seen. Like, it's something that the Avengers did so well was, like, we knew these people before. It's like when you have a really good friend and then another really good friend, and you're like, man, they'd get along. And then you bring them together, and then you enjoy them getting along. But instead of just, like, throwing them out there. And I don't know, there's, like, Barry Allen, who a lot of people have issues with. I thought he was fine.
For me, he was the best character.
I hated the way he ran, though. He, like, slid. Did you notice that?
Oh, yeah, he was like, I didn't like his face when he was, like, he did all these, like, really weird...
Although that scene when Superman looked at him,
That's
was
the
great.
weirdest thing. Okay, because part of me is like, yes, I agree that was a great scene, and that's what I was hoping for when the scene happened. I was like, oh, I want Superman to like look at him and be like, but part of me was like, it was at the same time as it was really cool. I was like, this is some of the silliest shit I've ever seen, and like I was in my head, I was so torn because I was like, fun idea. Really weird, silly execution. You know, it's like, why is he was in a suit? Why is it just pants? Why do they look like hospital pants?
Well,
now?
because it's the obligatory like
They're flowing.
like super actor worked out have to take the shirt off.
That's fine. But what you do is you do the Jesus thing where you put him in a bathrobe, right? And then
I think he should have been in the black suit.
Oh, the black suit Superman.
So what should have happened was like that liquid
sense.
should have like come around him and turned into the black suit, you know.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you have black suit. Then fans would be happy black suit Superman.
And then you could
he's
have the
fighting
color
people.
come back later in the movie.
Yeah, and then it would have
as,
been
like,
more.
to
It would have been
show
more
transformation.
prominent. Yeah, because they definitely brightened up the suit a lot, and I think it worked. So let's talk about each character. So we're gonna start with Batman. The movie opens with him fighting a parademon thing, stopping that guy.
His symbol is like the opposite of hope. And on the black suit. Despair.
So I thought Batman in this movie was a lot like Captain America in the first Avengers movie.
Interesting.
Where like he was just there to bring
Depowered.
people together, and he was just didn't do anything.
Well,
he
that-
did a lot of rolling around slowly, and then he got into a vehicle.
Rolling around slowly.
Yeah, he was just really. I liked how slow he was, but like
He was like when somebody wears a lot of armor in the Dark Souls games, and they just go woof, and then you like kind of roll, you dodge roll, and part of me was like, so it's just a squandered opportunity because Batman is I love the idea of Batman has to bring the Justice League together because that is terrible. Because Batman is not a people person. He can't he can't inspire these people.
Yeah.
And to see him fail repeatedly to bring people together would have been there's so much potential for that. Yeah. And then by the end of the movie, everyone's like, all right, let's join together. And the weird thing is the movie made him the centerpiece in the finale. And that is super strange because that's not Batman's MO. He's not the one who's going out punching. What he's doing is he's planned 30 steps ahead, and he uses his plan to augment everybody else. He more of is running around the entire situation, like helping out at key moments, pivotal moments. He's not like, I'm gonna drive the car into the thing, self-sacrifice.
that didn't make sense. Like, why was
that's
he
not Batman?
So I was listening to another podcast.
He's pragmatic.
They were talking about. They made a good point. He spent this entire time putting a team together. Sorry, I keep burping. Gross. Putting a team together to fight this threat. And then once they finally got to the threat, the team that he finally put together, he was like, I'm going to do it alone.
Yeah, it's like, what is happening?
Yeah. And then it didn't even work. And then, like, okay, so that end fight. We're moving too fast here.
I know.
All right,
There's so much
let's
we got to
move on.
unpack.
Okay, so Batman. He was slow. So I kind of like the idea of having a slow Batman. Like that warehouse scene in Batman v Superman was really cool because he was clearly exhausted,
right?
And he's really heavy.
But he's been Batman for 20 years, I guess.
Yeah.
In these movies,
yeah, which is a weird decision to do, but whatever.
All right, man.
I like the idea that he's just like he's probably not at his best right now.
Right. Yeah.
Which is kind of a cool idea, but they don't really touch on it at all.
Yeah.
So Wonder Woman was great. I guess she was fine. Although that opening.
Oh, and that's the other thing I was going to say about Wonder Woman. I had two other things. The second is that they make her the mom of the team.
Yeah.
Which is super weird.
Yeah.
Because it's like talk about Oedipal complex, like Jesus.
Yeah.
And then the weirdest thing is they keep cheating with her because they don't really have to give her like really intense character moments. All they have to do is because she's has a really charming, very charismatic, and very pretty. All they have to do is have her smile at the camera and be like wink and do the fucking Audrey Hepburn. And then everyone's like, "Oh, this is great." And I'm like, "Just give her a character moment. Just give her something to do." Like
she didn't really have much. I did like her.
I love Audrey Hepburn, but this is not the place for this.
I don't know. I mean, I just think it's Gal Gadot and her presence on screen is really like warming. You're like, oh, cool. She finally
like,
show up.
nice.
You're like, oh, thank God. Like I don't have to look at these weirdos anymore.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if like
she's the best part of a terrible movie, but for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. So that opening scene with the bank was cooler in the trailers.
Yeah.
One of those
I thought
things.
that was so weird. I was like, why don't you just use a DC villain? Why is it Bruce Bolton in a hat being like, we are holy terrorists?
So
like,
that was a weird moment because,
suits?
first of all, it's a bomb that can blow up a
fedora?
city block, right? And she throws it in the air. It should still do damage. First of all. And then he also mentioned how,
laterally.
Yeah.
I don't know if they understand physics.
It just blew up straight upward. It just blows up, and she knew that. Also, I timed it in my head, and it was like in 4 seconds, and like 20 seconds went by. And I hate that in movies.
When the bombs aren't accurate.
You're like, come on, inaccurate bombs.
Inaccurate bombs. I call shenanigans inaccurate bombs.
Shenanigans. And then he also mentioned how there were bombs laid out throughout the entire block.
Oh, yeah. And
then that was just bring that up.
at all.
Yeah. I think that might have to do with something. I think Zack Snyder was going somewhere else with it.
And then Joss Whedon was like,
oh, no, whatever.
Oh, yeah, you don't.
Yeah, whatever. So Wonder Woman's in it. She uses her bracelets a lot. I don't like that move when she does that thing. Because, first of all, it looks weird for her.
Does everybody move as fast as the Flash in these movies?
Yeah, I know. When she blocks all those bullets.
Like, I don't remember this being like part of it.
Yeah.
Part of me can understand. I mean, I haven't read too much Wonder Woman. Which again is my fault. Part of it is I just don't know what writers like. I've never seen Grant Morrison because my thing is I follow writers, so like I have yet to see Grant Morrison do a run on Wonder Woman. He might have done one, and I just don't know as it's not collected in a trade. But like, so the writers who I admire aren't writing for that title in the ways I want, and I think that I don't understand how Wonder Woman's powers work, but my fan theory in my head is that her bracelets don't deflect bullets; they're magnets, so they can attract bullets. So she can just like take care of it pretty easily. Because her like having to like do all this stuff is strange. And I understand it's a Captain America effect, the idea of a shield, but it's like the bracelets don't have enough space to
Surface
do a
area.
shield. Yeah, which is what the magnetic effect would compensate for.
That would make sense.
Directs them.
Because she literally blocks a fully automatic rifle.
And then maybe like they fuse with the metal or something, It's like a trophy. It's like,
Yeah. Do you think they absorb energy and that's why she's able to explode with them?
Yeah. That makes perfect sense.
It makes really no sense to me. Like, how come every time she does that, like, a giant explosion comes out?
Yeah.
Is it her power or is it the bracelet's power? That's what I don't understand.
Well, in the movie, I think they explain it as like it's her secret ability.
She's
like a nuke.
So anyway, she was great. I liked her lasso of truth moments.
Oh yeah, those are great.
The one with what's his name sitting on it, and then at the end she has the burglars tied up, and they're just giving away all the cops, and she's just like, that was great, that was fun.
Yeah, really, really charming. Part of me was like really wanted to like Cyborg.
Let's move on to Cyborg.
I loved all like they were kind of hinting at some like Frankenstein stuff, like the modern Prometheus and all that stuff, and I was like, this is really fun.
This movie hints at a lot of things and never follows through.
It's just he was so silly, and I was like, I was waiting for. I mean, I'm a big Teen Titans fan, so I was when he said "booyah" at the end, I was like, ugh, what?
Yeah.
Like if anything, he should have been like, booyah, really excited because like that's like I love the idea of taking a character like Victor Stone. It's like really self-hating, like really like hates what he is, part man, part machine, and then at the end of the movie, he's like really happy and chipper and like he's like yes, like I'm a kid again. I get to be a kid again, and like. Hanging out with Flash and stuff, and I'm like, there's so much you can do, and they're just like,
he was pretty bland.
He's stoic. He's a stone cold badass, and I'm like, that's not Cyborg. Yeah. Cyborg's like fun.
Cyborg's like the youngest of the group, even though he's not.
Yeah, he's the baby, and he's awesome, and it's like,
like he plays like video games and things like that. There was one scene I really liked him in. I hated the design because it was like clearly a floaty head. I don't know if you noticed that, but there was one when Superman returns. And then his gun starts going off, and he's like, shit.
Wait, Superman's gun?
No, Cyborg.
Oh, right.
And he starts like, I liked that moment. I think he did a good job of being like, what the heck's going on? He's like, I can't, like, I think that was when he got to be the most characterful.
Yeah. Because he was vulnerable.
Yeah.
He was actually emoting with his face.
Yeah, minus the fact that his face was kind of floating a lot. But, yeah, I thought Cyborg was all right.
I wonder what the motion capture suit for that looks like.
Oh, God, I don't even know. And then at the end, he gets the actual Cyborg suit. I'm like, why didn't you do that at the beginning?
Oh, does he get his actual suit?
Yeah, like it kind of like it's just like a quick flash at the very end with all the characters, and like he's looking at the mother box, and it kind of like covers him, and he gets like the full like with the cyborg symbol on his
I don't remember that
chest.
at all.
Yeah, his dad's like working with him. It's like at the very end. It's like the montage of like where they are now type thing. I'm like, why didn't you do that in the beginning?
I was like, wait, is Star Labs also on the Kryptonian ship? What?
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. Who else? All right, so Aquaman.
Janitors know everything.
I liked Aquaman. That's just Jason Momoa.
Yeah,
was good.
Aquaman was fine. Yeah.
The only biggest problem I had with him, I don't know if you noticed this, was every time he went to attack Steppenwolf, he would like go for it, and I'd be like, cool, we're gonna see what he can do, and then he'd get hit away. This happened like 7 times. Every time he'd be like, it happened with Superman too. He'd go to attack Superman, be like, let's see what he can do with his like strength and what his fighting style is, and he would just get smacked down.
I did not care about Steppenwolf at all.
Oh god,
that bad CGI.
Yeah.
Face.
Why didn't they just have a real actor on?
Yeah, just have a real actor.
If they want to do those little horn, like look at what they did with Lord of the Rings.
And
the makeup in that, it's going to cost so much less.
It's so frustrating because I love stories about outcasts. And it's like, I love the idea. Steppenwolf is a new god from Apocalypse. He's trying to get to that place. He's broken. You know, he wants to go back to the pantheon. He wants, again, that mythic aspect of the DC heroes as gods, right? That's a huge theme of like deities, mortality, the Hercules story. That is always be a theme in all these movies because it's just that's their the big thematic crust of the DC universe. And with Steppenwolf, it's like you could have had like a crazy like dude who just like he doesn't care about Earth or anything. He just wants to go home.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like you can do a lot with that. You can play with that so much. And he's like, but he's just this weird like, you would all love me, and it's like, wait, okay, what do you want? You want?
Yeah, I didn't understand
terraform?
Yeah, that whole.
Which is the Red Letter Media made a really interesting point. Is the same plot point of Man of Steel. Is somebody terraforming?
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like, oh, god damn it!
Just think something else. Right. Yeah, that's true. I thought his parademons were
grunts,
but they were a little bit stronger than grunts. I think they had some strength.
A little bit of meat to them.
Yeah,
but I read this thing called I read this comic called Secret Six one time, which is like. It's like kind of like Suicide Squad a little bit. It's a different type of Suicide Squad. Really cool characters like Catman and Deadshot. Like really fun villains.
Catman,
Mad Hatter. Like a really interesting combination of characters. Like it's kind of fun. But there's a parademon in that comic. And he's like one of the team members, and he's like really funny. He's kind of like the Thor of the team.
Yeah.
And I was like, why did none of these parademon bugs talk? Because this guy can talk, and he's from Apocalypse. And it was just interesting to see the reality of what is the comics do and
I think
the movie.
I think the parademons they were kind of wasted in terms of like, because there's a scene where you see that like. There are people that his axe like hits people and then they turn them into parademons. So it's like they're kind of like zombies.
Right.
And it would have been cool to see the different like types of people as parademons. Like have maybe a giant parademon, have like a Green Lantern version of a like an Atlantean, like all these different like an Amazonian parademon.
And it's like they're
just all the same.
They're all the same.
They're all the same bug things with.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Well, so. Let's. What else? The Flash.
We got to stop making these superhero movies where like it's an army of drones.
Yeah.
Can we just have it just be like just the one bad guy, maybe 2 bad guys?
I mean, it kind of worked. I mean, yeah, because they did all fight. I that was one part of the movie I did like is that they all kind of fought him at once. He was one dude, and I was like, that's what I was always worried about Thanos. Like, how are you gonna have all these characters fight one guy? And I think it can work.
Yeah, well, all you just need is to pair people off, and then increase the strength or skill based on that. You know.
Yeah. All right. What else is there?
There's a lot. I thought a lot of CGI was very silly. It's so funny. The best part of the movie is at least for me was the Deathstroke end credits.
Oh really?
I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, but it had Jesse Eisenberg in it again.
That's true.
I can't stand him.
But as much as I can't stand him, that small clip was the most I've ever liked him. But
As Lex Luthor or just in general?
as Lex Luthor.
Yeah, okay.
He wasn't doing his freaking ding 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 stuff. He wasn't doing the crazy stuff. He was just like,
Yeah.
I'm Lex Luthor. I'm a bad guy. Let's have a bad guy chat.
Yeah.
And I was like, great. You don't need to do all the crazy stuff. Like maybe when you have a big monologue, but it's like Lex Luthor's not crazy. Lex Luthor has a wrong view of the world, and it's not even like that. It's different than the world. His view of the world is like is honest. It's true. Like he sees truth in everything because he's right. He's like Superman is an alien, and Superman like is not a U.S. citizen. Like he's not. He's at any point could turn against people, and he has legitimate concerns, and he has a real ambition, a real fear, and a real like sense of not like he lost his manhood, but that he feels a real inferiority to Superman, which is so palpable because in his world he's the most powerful man in the room. But with Superman, he's not. He just can't compete on that level, and that drives him crazy. And he finds every way to justify that, and it always makes sense.
That sounds so compelling.
Yeah,
We're never gonna get that though.
yeah, no. He's just let's make him a goofy, like crazy guy, and it's like that's not Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is the most pragmatic businessman in the world. He's like, and he's Lex Luthor's.
How could they get that so wrong?
Yeah, it's freaking crazy. It's insane.
I thought Kevin Spacey did a decent job.
He's
Rest in
the
peace,
other
Kevin
side
Spacey, but
He's the other side to Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
If Bruce Wayne was bad guy, wasn't Batman.
yeah,
That's what Lex Luthor is.
Yeah.
He is full commitment to that identity.
Yeah.
Of legacy and it's so funny because Lex Luthor thinks he's a philanthropist. He
Yeah.
thinks he's helping the world, and he sees Superman as like the escalation. Again, it's the God problem. It's the deity problem. You have these gods. It's like, how does man stack up? He's trying to balance the playing field at every turn, not realizing that is not the way of it. Is that and it's interesting because one of the most interesting thematic parts in this movie is when Steppenwolf sees the Flash and says something of like you're like one of the old gods or something, like talking about the metahuman gene in the religious context of the
He
larger
says that to the
cosmic
Flash?
realm. Yeah, he says it to the Flash.
I don't remember that.
It's very interesting because that means that Zeus and Ares and all those other guys, they were metahumans,
Yeah.
which is a fun idea. Very
is kind of a
interesting.
cool thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they never talk about it again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's just one line.
So what else? So what else happened in this? What else happened in this movie? I can't even remember.
Jeremy Irons rattling around.
I thought he was good. I think he's a good Alfred.
He's passable. I mean, I still have a soft spot for Michael Caine.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
I found you, Batman.
I did like that. I did like that line.
Lois Lane needs to get over herself. I like how she was like, oh, Superman's dead and blah blah blah. And I'm like, I understand you being depressed about that, but she's like, and my career, and I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you like this?
Yeah,
and then Superman's back, and like Lois Lane is such a fun, cool character in the comics.
Well,
like,
she started out like this, like
she's
really
like a genius,
powerful, like I don't want to say strong, independent woman, but she was a strong, independent in the first movie. She was like doing her own thing. She was getting shit done, and then she met Superman, and she was still getting things done. And now, like, she's like so heavily reliant on whether or not he's there or not.
Well, the thing about Lois Lane is that she is
Makes her a boring character.
She is I don't know if there's Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yeah.
Lois Lane is kind of like Lisbeth from Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, except just a little bit more like self-assured, a little bit more confident, a little bit more put together. She has her own aesthetic that she enjoys.
Less tattoos as well.
Less tattoos.
Yeah.
And but whereas Lisbeth is an investigator, Lois Lane is in the same way,
right?
But she is more interested in public investigation versus private investigation. The idea of emanating truth as it applies to the new world, and she finds that the escalation of metahumans and superheroes and deities, she brings it back to a level where it's relatable and it's she always has like some really interesting insights into it. She's kind of like a Nobel Prize genius. I like to think of her as kind of like a Joseph Campbell for the DC universe.
Right. So she's the kind of character
Ideally.
she could hold her own movie if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way that she sees the world is so important to giving context to the DC universe.
I feel like her character was wasted in this movie.
Oh yeah, completely. Yeah. Completely.
Also, like, they kind of gave up with her hair. Because, like, she wasn't really a redhead in Man of Steel.
Yeah.
And then they're like, what the heck. Just keep going with it. And it's just like, it's right over.
I don't understand their love story. Because they don't flirt at all. They just,
They have no chemistry, though.
Yeah. It's like, wow, this is the most wooden performance I've ever seen.
I want to talk about identities
Pinocchio's
in this
on
movie.
screen.
I want to talk about secret identities.
Like how there are none.
Exactly. So there's a scene where Aquaman was like, Bruce Wayne, dressed like a bat, in front of like a bunch of people, like in that village.
Bruce Wayne.
And then when Superman comes back, Lois Lane is like, Bruce or Clark.
What if she said Bruce?
Yeah, right. And so I was like, so these are things I noticed. I was like, okay. But then there was the last one that really got me mad was when at the very end they're moving back. The Kents are moving back into the house, and Superman's just walking around with no glasses on, and there are people movers moving him into the house.
Hey, what if Superman lives here?
Like, oh, this is Clark Kent's house. Oh, look, it's Superman. He's just walking around. Like, I was like, what is he doing?
It's so strange.
They do not care.
A part of me's like, where's their headquarters? It's not the Batcave.
Well, now it's going to be in his mansion.
It's going to be in the mansion, right? The new Hall of Justice.
Yeah.
Which is Mount Olympus, metaphorically. Or it's supposed to be.
I heard they wanted...
Which is so... It's... God, if it was 10 years ahead, do you know what's interesting?
Yeah.
Is you have all these, like, Superman, Batman, The Flash, Wonder Woman, like, all these, like, big A-list DC players. And the most interesting thing about the Justice League and the Justice Society of America is all the bit players. Is all the little guys who have, like, shitty powers, no powers. Like, it's the most interesting thing is to watch these characters interact with, like, the gods.
Gods, yeah.
That's so cool. That's so interesting because that's like Hercules.
They
that's
touch
everybody.
upon it, but they don't go into it.
They don't go
Just
into
like
it.
this entire movie.
Because they don't want to. They're so scared of doing the cosmic aspect that they're like, we gotta make it
Though they took...
like September 11th. Everybody knows September 11th. The building's falling over. You remember that shit?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
Everybody remembered that.
Everybody remembered, when Superman destroyed a city, which is weird because I feel like they're completely
all of Bruce Wayne's motivation in BVS, where he's like, ah, he's like holding a child. Ah,
yeah. They're trying so hard in this movie to be like everybody misses Superman,
which is weird. Again, Red Letter Media made a really great point. Everybody hated Superman.
Yeah, everybody hated it. They wanted him out, and then they want him back, including Bruce Wayne.
He's dead now.
The world needs Superman. He doesn't do anything. Anyway, also, so when he comes back into that end fight, he punches, what's his name? I was going to say Steppenwolf like 4 times, and he's like, "Ooh, I gotta go save people." Flies away.
Right.
And then everybody who's fighting Steppenwolf are back where they started.
Yeah.
It was really weird.
Superman is OP. He's overpowered.
Yeah, that's why I don't like him as a character. He's boring.
Yeah. And if he had a personality that to match, and part of me is okay with like a character like the Hulk, where you have an overpowered character, but you're always giving them a personality flaw or something to deal with. Like, I love the idea that while every member of the Justice League is dealing with this big crisis, Clark's like going on a soul searching mission. He's going to Krypton. He's doing all this stuff, and like I like that idea of you distract, and which they kind of did in this movie, but they did it in the weirdest way of like. It was the Martha thing all over again. Mm-hmm. Lois, me Hulk, me like Lois, me calm down.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is this?
He was ready to kill Batman.
And then they're just like, all right, I'm gonna go to the farm for a little while. I'll see you in a month.
That was a weird moment where he's holding.
I'll see you in 5 hours.
First of all,
either 5 hours or a month passed.
He's holding Batman by the chin and lifting him up. All of his weight is on his hand and
I was
chin.
like, he's dead now.
Yeah, he would be probably dead. But then,
or at least his jaw is really fucked
there's
up.
that line where he's like,
he used to rap through it.
The world needs you, and he goes, but does it need you? Like, what the heck was that line? It was weird. It felt very strange. And then, also in that scene, Wonder Woman's like, Kal-El, no! And she sounds super weird. It's like she does. It's like, I like Gal Gadot has the accent, obviously.
Yeah. Where's she from? She's
Israel. Which is great. I think her accent's great, and it works really well for the character, but like, she needed to learn how to say Kal-El.
Cal-El.
It was a little messy. Crap. No, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Crushing his jaw?
Huh?
Crushing his
Yeah,
jaw?
past that point. I want to talk about the action scene on Themyscira.
Oh, right, yeah.
I really liked that scene.
You like that scene?
Where they were trying to keep the box away. That was a cool scene.
It was
I think
one
that
of
was
the
the
more
best
fun
action
scenes.
scene of the movie, yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. It definitely had a lot of moving pieces going for it.
Because it was I could feel the desperateness. I really liked that, yeah.
The problem I have with Themyscira is that, like, I kind of expected this, like, kind of continuation of the Greek utopian values and, like, education, knowledge, yet combined with strength and wisdom. And I was expecting this, but what you got is, like, this very shallow cliche, like, authoritarian, like, you know, and you don't get any cool stuff. You don't even get like I would love to watch a movie that's like like a little bit of, you know, one of the 15 or 20 minutes of the movie is politics on Themyscira. Like, that can be really interesting, but it's just like this very strange, like the core tenets of what make Wonder Woman, like, the person she is, the things that she learned and from her people and her culture that she brings to the outside world from her, because again, Themyscira in a kind of way is an academic place. It's a harbinger of an older culture, right? Mm-hmm. And so they're keeping these values alive, and it's hermetical for a reason. Like they never really get into that. You know, they kind of touch on it in the first Wonder Woman movie, but the whole, even in Justice League and Wonder Woman, like, I don't care about any of the characters on Themyscira. Like, there's no, like,
I feel like they feel
this
like
is
you're
the cool
supposed
character,
to.
this is the funny character, this is the character that's like that's, you know, the interesting one, this is the one that's like the detective, this is the, like, they're just all the same personality of like, oh boy, it's because it's the weird, like, authoritarian thing where it's like you are not your personality is your job in service to the larger power, and I'm like, that's not Themyscira. Yeah. That's authoritarianism. Themyscira is about the preservation of the democratic system of the Greek style.
That's a good point. I don't think about this stuff.
Boom.
Nailed it. All right, we should wrap this up. Mm-hmm. Overall thoughts, what did you think?
Better than Suicide Squad. Better than
BVS.
Better than Man of Steel.
So, do you think it's the best DC movie so far?
Wonder Woman is the best DC. It's the second best.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is not saying much.
Yeah. Okay. I agree. I'd have to agree.
It has a 37 on Rotten Tomatoes, and I was like, yeah, it's a strong 37%.
I think it's a little bit more than that for me. I'd give it like a 45.
50. We're halfway through.
Yeah. Out of 5 stars, I gave it 3. And for me, that's like
I felt bad. I was sitting next to a person who really likes those movies.
Yeah,
and I was just laughing the whole time. I was like, I felt kind of shitty.
Yeah.
I was just like like I couldn't control my laughter.
I always say it. I don't want this movie to be bad, and I didn't go into it expecting it to be bad or wanting it to be bad because it's funny.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want it to. I don't want to hate it. You know, but like
there's a shot when Superman comes back. There's a shot of Batman with his mouth open and his eyes going gaga with love.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that,
and I was like, that is so unintentionally funny.
And then there's this weird love for him. And then when like the mother boxes exploded, he looks up. He goes, Clark.
It's so weird.
Like, he's fine. He's Superman. Relax.
And I was like, what's all this weird Russia stuff? Like, why are they like...
Yeah, that weird family and stuff like that.
Yeah. Although the best line in the movie is, of course, Dostoevsky. That was...
What does that mean?
Dostoevsky is a Russian writer.
Oh, right. That's right.
Crime and Punishment.
Okay. And so he didn't say anything.
Notes from the Underground, Brothers Karamazov.
Okay.
Karamazov.
All right. So that's our, I guess, review. Would you recommend this movie to people?
That's a really good question. I think if they wanted to laugh and like see how stupid a movie was, then yeah, like go for it. Like, but I think that this movie does it kind of shames DC Comics fans. It kind of gives the world, because it's like the Justice League movie finally has come out and this is what it is, and it's like.
Yeah, it's pretty underwhelming.
Not what the Justice League is. Like it's. I would if a person wants to know what the Justice League is, it's like watch Young Justice watch Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Watch the Teen Titans cartoons. Like, those are way better representations of the type of, like, intrigue and the type of fun dynamics that everyone gets into. And it's so funny, too, because I was interested because I was rewatching Civil War again very recently. And there's this really amazing scene where Tony and Cap are having a conversation. Just two people talking, and they're talking about... Yeah, about like, Tony's trying to get Steve to sign.
That's my favorite scene in the movie.
It's perfect. It's like...
It's incredible.
This is the key. This is the key to everything. It's just good scene work. Yeah. And, like, that's all you need. And it's like, you don't need the big punching contest. All this big special effects and everything are more effective when you focus on character. Because then when the big crazy shit happens, you're like, whoa, like, how are they going to deal with this? This is crazy. But it's like...
Yeah, you're more worried about whether or not the characters can handle it instead of more mentally. I know they're going to
punch their way out.
Than more than, like, strength-wise.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I'm not scared. I was scared during Civil War because I was like, these characters have... Most of the movie is conversations.
I was terrified during Civil War at that end fight. Yeah. My heart was, like, racing.
One moment in particular, remember in Winter Soldier, all the stuff with, like... Cap and Black Widow fighting Bucky on the street.
There's such a desperateness to it.
Yeah. And the whole movie up to that point had been conversations. Important conversations. Yeah, and it's just like
it's terrifing because then this guy's coming up
sparingly.
It was scary.
All that stuff with Nick Fury in the car and like and the thing punching. Like, you're scared because up to this point, it's just been people having conversations that are compelling. Yeah. And now somebody's actually... shit's going down. And if shit's going down the whole movie, it doesn't matter. Imagine you see, Batman trying to get the team together and no action scenes in the movie. Just him getting the team together, really cool conversations. And then... boom! Like, shit goes crazy. Superman back, Parademon Troopers, all that shit. It would be have a lot more emotional impact.
Yeah.
A little bit of Shakespeare? Can we get a little bit of Shakespeare?
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
Okay.
You want to talk about Shakespeare?
I want to talk about Shakespeare. Okay, really. I wanted to ask you why you don't like Shakespeare.
I don't like the language, and I think the stories, maybe because they were original, but I think that they're boring. Mm-hmm. I think they're overused, and also I've learned a lot about Shakespeare being a theater major, and like I think that he's not as great as everybody says. He took a lot from...
Overrated.
Who's the other guy who wrote with him who died really young?
I want to say Christopher Marlowe or Ben Jonson.
It's one of something like that, where they wrote together, and I think that Shakespeare stole a lot from that guy who died really young because it's being proven as time goes on. A lot of people are like looking it up, and I'm just like, don't care about this stuff. It doesn't affect me in any way.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Because I'm not saying you don't have to not like it. Like, you can do whatever you want. For me, it's just like, it doesn't, it's... Blah.
Well, I
hate the language.
Yeah. I honestly, I have to say, I used to feel very similar to that. Like even in my years where I learned to love, like, Macbeth and Othello and Richard III, I had very specific reasons why I liked those. And where I was like, did not like Hamlet at all, because I would try to read Hamlet and I couldn't make heads or tails of it. Like, it just felt like the language was so frustrating. And I found that by finding resources where I could really dig in and have, like, either the book or a teacher explain it to me, I started to, like, I've recently become aware that Shakespeare, in a way, like, is a real gift to humanity. Like, and I know that sounds overhyped, but just in, like, this is a guy who, gave us, like, not only a lot of huge phrases we use in the English language, just, like, as a matter of course, like the idea, like, the milk of human kindness. Like, Shakespeare came up with that phrase, and that's just one of many. Or did he? Yeah, right. Or did he? But we're reading Hamlet right now in my English class at school, and it's my first time reading it, and I'm completely obsessed with it, and it's just so amazing because Hamlet is like, he's a sympathetic character. You kind of the story of Hamlet.
Yeah, I read it. I had to read it for one of my classes,
and it's like Hamlet is the villain.
I hated him the whole time.
Well, that's crazy because he is crazy, right?
Yeah.
And the whole time it's like it's almost like Shakespeare's telling you how not to live. It's like he's taking the human errors and the folly of our repetitions and how we live our life, and he's showing us how not to live, but he's also showing the beauty of character, because like all of Hamlet's soliloquies, I mean the big one is To Be or Not to Be, which is about suicide, but it's also about sleep and dreams and like the other world, the way that we portray the afterlife as like a continuing dream of ourselves. And then right after that monologue, To Sleep to Dream, Ophelia comes in, and he has essentially one of the most vicious breakup scenes ever. Right after this wonderful, like beautiful moment, and it just shows his bipolarness, which is a product of his society and his mind, because he doesn't have control of himself. And it's like we get to see, like Shakespeare is showing us, like that's why theater is such a great medium, because he's bringing these characters to life, and it's interesting because Shakespeare is literature, but it's also theater. And it's like so strange that he found an opportunity to fuse a literary tradition with a very active ritual, mythic, like...
I think that's another big part of it, though, is that, like, even as someone who's so, like, well-versed in theater, not as an actor, but just, like, in general, I hate reading plays.
Right,
I'd much rather watch them.
Yeah, definitely. Because that's where the fun of the plays comes out, is in their interpretation.
Reading them is so tedious.
Yeah.
I hate just reading just the dialogue and like a couple, and you're just like, man. I do enjoy Othello. That's the only one I actually like.
Great.
Yeah.
I love Othello.
That's the only one I've ever enjoyed, and that's partially because I watched the film version of it. No, I don't like Macbeth. The film version of it has Kenneth Branagh in it.
Yeah,
He's great.
Well, Kenneth Branagh's in the film version of Hamlet. It's really good.
Me.
Well,
no, I don't know. I just don't care. I just don't. It's just like I think it's just overdone. So like school, like high school,
schools make you hate Shakespeare.
They just
That's
push
the thing
it.
I've learned.
They push it and push it and push it and tell you it's the best of the best.
Schools teach Shakespeare like they teach math. They teach it wrong.
Yeah.
They don't. They do it a disservice. Because like Shakespeare is like a wealth of information. It's history. It's culture. It's like
too late for me.
I know. I feel so bad because I'm like, there's so much there, and there's so many fun stories and characters and like bad guys and like philosophy, and it's just like.
But there's also so much other stuff there too, and
the world
I just think
isolates
that people
it from us.
Yeah, I just think that Shakespeare's focused on too much.
Too much.
There's other stuff out there, and there's stuff that I did read in college and things like that. That was just
that you like more.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to hear what like.
I can't remember the names of them. I'll get you the syllabus when I remember.
Give me that syllabus.
Yeah. But we read some ancient Greek stuff, which I really enjoyed.
Oh, like
the brothers
Sophocles.
Menachmus and stuff like that.
Oh my god, I don't know that one.
Oh, well, maybe I'm smarter than you. You English major. All right, we're like, yeah, we're pretty fine.
Wait, Greek stories, English major? I guess you could probably read Greek stories.
Yeah, you start. That's the classical tradition, don't you know?
The Western canon.
That's where it starts with the Odyssey, and I love
the Iliad.
Yeah, the Iliad.
Yeah, that's Achilles, right?
Yeah, that stuff. I did that in a class. I had to take a English class where it was classical tradition, where we did Iliad, Odyssey, and we moved on to like Greek stuff. And Iliad was like, I had so much fun. I had a blast doing that because like I cared about that stuff.
Yeah.
But then as soon as we moved on to Odyssey, things got a little weird, and then from there I was like, this is stupid. I hate everything. So
Iliad set the standard.
Yeah, Iliad was great. All right, we have to move on. We're gonna keep going. If we keep going, we're gonna keep going.
Yeah, that's true.
It's already been over an hour. What's our next segment?
Opinions from the future.
Opinions from the future. What did we talk about today?
Opinions from the future.
So we talked about a little bit of news.
Yeah.
We talked about the
Jake Gyllenhaal's Ben Affleck.
Jake Gyllenhaal belling Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
As Batman.
Oh, as Ben. No, he replaced Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal is Ben Affleck now.
He's Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Which, that was super strange because it's like they got he legally changed his name to Ben Affleck.
Yep. He got the cleft chin like surgically put in as well.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. I guess that's what that meant. Jake Gyllenhaal will replace Ben Affleck. I guess like just in general.
Just in his life. Well, because
kind of a bold move.
It's like the Dread Pirate Roberts from Princess Bride, where it's like someone else will take over your mantle as you continue.
Someone has to take over Ben Affleck's mantle. So we'll see who takes over Jake Gyllenhaal in whatever amount of years from now. What else came out? The Incredibles 2 came out.
Incredibles 2 came out. Now I gotta say.
Yeah.
I did not expect them to use as much math as they did. That was crazy.
Math.
Like, yeah, like
that's true.
Like, you know how like a lot of movies will have exposition sequences where they explain like how something works, how it's like here's how the flux capacitor works.
But now you had to figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
I see now why on the ticket it said bring your own calculator.
Yeah. Okay. And they provided like scratch paper for everybody.
Scratch paper, yeah. Those tiny little golf pencils.
Yeah.
Which I hate because you need an eraser sometimes, but you don't have one. So.
It was insane. It was like I didn't know how to react because I was like I just wanted to
want to come watch a movie.
This is actually a true story. Do you know there was one time where I took notes in a movie?
What? Why?
Because it was Cabin in the Woods, and I loved that movie so much when I saw it.
So it wasn't on your first viewing.
It wasn't on my first. I went for a second viewing, and I took a legal pad with me, and I wrote down my favorite moments in the movie.
How did you see what you were writing?
I couldn't.
You just like was it just like a mess afterwards?
In the dark, yeah. I couldn't see anything. It's weird because like I was with like I was in this very fratty audience, and so everyone was like actively drinking. Like people had brought in booze, and here I am sitting in the front, like I like the way that he uses these.
I've had
elements.
teachers say, "Go see a movie and take a notepad." And I'm like, "What do you expect me to bring? Like a little light and just like annoy everybody?" I'm like, "I'm not doing that." Yeah, it's really stupid.
It's good to do when you read. I think that's my new favorite thing to do. Is I'll read, and after a couple pages, I'll take notes, and it's just a good idea to help you because you like, especially for studying, it helps you remember it more because you know when teachers say put stuff in your own words, that's what they mean. Yeah, they mean to have thoughts that are tangential and that relate.
Do you write inside of books?
Ooh, I
know a lot of English majors that do that. Like they're reading and then they'll stop, take a pen out, and write into a book, underline things.
I can't do it. It's for me like the texts.
That's like putting stickers on your computer.
Yeah, are sacred, and I can't just efface them. I just like write in like on a Google Doc. I have a Google Doc open while I read, and I'm like, oh, here's an interesting note. Yeah. Like for instance, like one of the notes I wrote when I was reading Hamlet is the idea of. The opening I thought was really interesting because it's a play, so it's dialogue based. Yeah. So you have to get out exposition really quick. Like, who are these characters? What's the situation? And you'll notice in the very first scene of Hamlet, it's guards being like, "Who's there? It's me, Marcellus. It's me, Bernardo. It's me, Horatio." It's like they're all saying their names, and it's interesting because this is how they keep momentum, which is what they do in action movies, like in Terminator, when they're like, I gotta explain what a Terminator is. And, well, at the same time a Terminator's shooting at us, they do that in Hamlet, where it's like...
we're back on Shakespeare.
Real quick. It's like the ghost, right? And it's like really scary. It's like supposed to be a really scary, haunting scene. It's like, a ghost, like here it is. And the ghost keeps coming back in that first scene, and every time in between the ghosts, they're like, all right, the ghost is gone. Explain to us what's happening with Fortinbras in Norway. And it's like, well... Old Hamlet, the king, took land from Norway, and now that he's dead, the new Fortinbras is trying to get it back. And it sets the plot. It's like, and it actually explains the ending of the play in the first act, which I thought was really cool. But it's like, there's all this cool stuff that I didn't notice until I started taking notes.
You're gleaming right now.
I'm gleaming.
All right, I think that's the show. What do you say?
Yeah, that was good.
That was good? Okay. Sorry to any really fans of
Sorry that your movie was bad.
Yeah. I'm just trying to be honest here. We admit it when Marvel movies are bad too, like Doctor Strange, and
it wasn't the worst DC movie.
No, it was. I had fun. I enjoyed myself.
It's getting better.
I wasn't sitting there like I don't know. I
wasn't depressed.
I wasn't sitting there angry like I was with Batman v Superman.
Oh God.
Or
Batman v Superman. It was great because as bored as I was out of my mind, there's also like really unintentionally funny moments, like when he falls. In the opening of the movie, he falls down the well, and then the bats lift him up into like a really shitty bat signal.
I don't even want to talk about it. All right, yeah, so... yeah, all right, well, thanks for listening. We're on YouTube, but we're also on iTunes. Did you know that?
I didn't even know that. We're moving on up.
So if you have the podcast app, you can listen to it through there. I know a couple people that do that. Just share it, I guess.
I gotta scratch my chest. Not because I do crack, but because I'm doing this weird thing where I shave a little too low.
Oh, and then it gets real itchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It started as an experiment, and now I just can't stop.
Crazy. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. What is next time? What are we doing next time?
We're doing, I want to say...
What movies are out that we could talk about? We can do Nirvana the Band the Show.
We could do Nirvana the Band the Show.
Whether or not, if Tyler's there, because he hasn't watched it, but if Tyler's not, we'll do.
We should try to fit in 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri.
When's that come out?
I think it's out now. It's out in theaters right now.
Oh goodness gracious! I have to go see it. All right, yeah, we'll try and.
Are you still at the theater?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you about that later. All right. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Goodbye.